My employee asked for a day off to attend his mother's funeral. I approved it. Then I saw his mother at the grocery store that afternoon. I've owned my business for 22 years. Built it from a truck and a handshake. I don't have a lot of rules, but I have one that matters. Don't lie to me. You lie to me once, you're done. Elliot has been with me for 9 years. Best guy I've ever had. Never late, never called in sick, never complained. The kind of employee you stop appreciating because he's so consistent, you start thinking reliability is just who he is, not something he chooses every single day. Last Thursday, Elliot came into my office. Door closed, eyes red. He said his mom passed away and asked if he could take Friday off for the funeral. I didn't hesitate. I told him take the whole week paid. Don't even think about work. He thanked me quietly and left. 2 hours later, I'm at Kroger picking up lunch, and there she is, Beverly, Elliot's mother. The woman listed as his emergency contact on every form he's ever filled out. She's standing in the dairy aisle, putting milk in her cart. She looked up, she smiled, she waved at me. I waved back, and something in my chest turned to stone. He lied. My best employee, 9 years, not a single mark against him, lied about his own mother dying to get a long weekend. I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, but I saw her. She was alive and buying 2% milk, and she waved at me like nothing was wrong. I spent the weekend furious. By Monday morning, I'd made my decision. I pulled up the funeral home address Elliot had given me. I was going to walk in, confront him in front of whoever was there, and fire him for fraud, for lying, for breaking the one rule I have. I was 20 minutes out when I called his brother, not to warn him, just to confirm. I wanted to hear someone else say it. Hey, it's Elliot's boss. Just checking in. Your mom is doing all right? His brother was quiet for a moment, then he sighed. Biologically, yeah, Beverly's fine. But that's not who Elliot is burying. I pulled over. Elliot is burying Grace, he said. Grace raised him. Foster mom. She took him in when he was 2 years old. Our parents, our biological parents, they didn't want him. Dad was gone. Mom couldn't cope. She gave Elliot up. Grace took him in and raised him until he was 16. No legal adoption, no paperwork. Just a woman who showed up every single day for a kid nobody else wanted. His voice got thick. Grace is not on any form. She's not listed anywhere. She's not his legal family, but she's his mom. She's the only mom that ever mattered. And Elliot is the only person paying for her funeral because nobody else in her life cared enough to show up. I sat in my truck on the side of the road for 10 minutes. I thought about the termination letter in my glove box. I thought about the speech I'd rehearsed, the one about integrity and trust. I thought about how sure I was, how righteous I felt. I felt like the smallest man alive. I drove to the funeral home, walked in. The chapel was nearly empty. No flowers except one cheap arrangement by the door. No music, no priest yet. Just rows of empty chairs and a simple casket at the front. And Elliot, sitting alone in the first row, hands folded, head down, suit I'd never seen before, probably the only one he owns. He was burying his mother completely alone, and he almost didn't tell anyone because she wasn't technically family. I walked in and sat in the back row. I didn't say anything. I just sat there. Elliot turned around. His eyes were swollen. He looked confused. Boss, what are you? You didn't have to come. She's not technically my mother. My throat closed. I had to wait a few seconds before I could speak. Elliot, you showed up to work for 9 years without ever mentioning this woman, without ever asking for anything, without ever telling me you grew up in foster care, or that someone loved you enough to raise you when nobody else would. You carried all of that silently, every single day, for 9 years. I looked at the empty chapel, the cheap casket, the one arrangement of flowers. She was your mom. This is her funeral, and you don't have to do this alone. I sat with him through the whole service. The priest spoke for 8 minutes. I was the only other person there. When it was over, Elliot stood at the casket for a long time. He put his hand on it and whispered something I couldn't hear. I didn't try to. I drove him home. I told him to take the week paid. He shook his head and said he'd think about it. Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. sharp. Elliot walked in. Same boots, same jacket, coffee in hand. He stopped at my office door. She would have told me to stop being dramatic and get back to work, he said, a small, tired smile. That's the kind of mom she was. I gave him a raise that day, not because he asked. He never would. I gave it to him because for 9 years I thought I knew my best employee.